Hello and welcome to the 6th round of the Man on Fire Films Toribash tournament. I'm your host Jack Morris, and fighting tonight this is Spartacraft. And the one thing I never did in school, study. Let's get to it. Okay, here we are, Spartacraft versus Study. Now, I know on the bracket it said it was going to be Noromu in this round. It's the same person, just different names, so we're going to be calling him Study, and I'm going to alter the bracket to say Study instead. So we've got a orange belt versus an 8th dan black belt. Might seem a little bit unevenly matched, but you know, we've seen people step up even lower belts, so this could be interesting. As always, this is going to be best of 3, although 2 wins in a row will result in the end. Boss battle commencing is apparently Spartacraft's under thing. I still don't really know what that is. I just kind of like them. They're pretty cool. Let's see how they're going to open. Okay, what are they going to do? Okay, so we've seen this opener a billion times throughout this tournament. Basic standard kick. Very good. We've seen this across the first round a lot of times. Very good for establishing other people's tactics. This is not surprising, but you can't fault them. It's both opening with very, very good kicks. Sparta going low with his left hand, and Study going right. Also very interesting textures, must say. It's the first texture I've actually seen the Mohawk work on. Okay, Spartacraft trying to go for a right hand lift while still keeping his left hand available. Definitely a smart move. You don't want to get your hands locked that early on. Neither one really has an advantage this early on in the match. They're both kind of evenly kicking. Spartacraft might have a slight advantage with his leg being closer to the ground, but that's not really going to affect much. How are they going to follow this up? Okay. Interesting tactic by Spartacraft. Yep, Spartacraft. Thought I was saying the wrong name, then that'd have been embarrassing. He's gone low with the grab, which definitely, well, it's gonna pay off later on. I mean, he's got Study's right leg now, so although he is slightly off balance, I'm really not sure how he's gonna play this. But again, he seems to know what he's doing, so we'll see how they follow this up. Okay, Spartacraft definitely at a disadvantage here. I mean, alright, Study's in the air, but, you know, Spartacraft's going to hit the ground first at this rate, unless he's trying to flip him, which according to the ghosts he is, so maybe this is all part of the master plan. But I'd say Study definitely has the advantage. He could easily twist Sparta into the ground here. I'm sure we're going to see how this plays out in a second. Okay, so Sparta was going for the twist, can't fault him. Although he's not going to put him out by the looks of it from this, because Study's going to have his hand completely free to keep him off the ground. But Sparta's definitely regaining the upper hand. Again, by holding on to his leg, holding on to Study's leg is going to provide him with a massive, massive advantage later on in the round. If it comes to that, Study definitely going to be able to stay in with his right hand, though, so that's not going to be a problem. Appears as though we've reached a little bit of a stalemate now. Neither one of them has much momentum. There's just kind of grapples, and Study's got a very firm plant on the ground with his right hand right there, and Spartacraft's still got both his legs on the ground. Very interesting. I wonder how either one of them is going to play this. I mean, I imagine they're both going to try and twist out of it, which could be really interesting if neither one of them are expecting the other one to. Let's see what they're going to do. Both going for a twist. Yeah, I was actually thinking this might happen. Now that they've both twisted away, it's had a very unexpected result, putting Spartacraft at a very, very interesting disadvantage. He's still got both his legs free though, so I imagine he can pull this back around with minimal effort. But Study is very much on top of Spartacraft here. And again, left hand firmly on the ground, keeping him afloat. Very good balancing by Spartacraft there. Gonna zoom in here to make sure that might actually be touching the ground, but we can't say for certain. I'm gonna have to wait until later on in the round to know if that's bugged or not. I'm under the impression this bug happens when loads and loads of joints are contracted, and loads and loads of joints are contracted in this round, so it could be bugged, but I think that's probably safe. I mean, neither one of them has really touched the ground yet, so I think we're going to probably let that one slide and see how it plays out. Both of them very close to the ground now, but neither one of them really looking like they're going to touch out. This could go to points looking at the frames that are left. 90 frames in, 40 frames to go, 2 turns to go. I really don't know how either one of them are going to play this. Okay, Spartacraft leaping into the air, very much looking like this is going to go to points. Very interestingly played on both their parts. Again, we've seen strategies like this throughout. This is a very defensive play. Risky. Spartacraft could have hit the ground earlier, but very, very well reversed. Although neither one of them really with an advantage. I think this is going to go to... Nope, disqualified. Wow, that blew my mind a little bit. Disqualified. Study. What happened? I did not see that. Head. Study wins. 1-0 to Study. That actually kind of blew my mind there. I was completely in a different world then. 1-0 to Study. Head disqualification. Very impressive. Did not see that coming. I was really expecting it to go to points, which still would have resulted in Study winning. But it's very interesting that I went to disqualifications. Very, very cool. Now we go into round 2. I wonder if Spartacraft can bring this back. I imagine he probably can. I mean, he now knows the tactic. If Study's going to go for the kick again, then we can really expect Sparta to reverse this in a very interesting way. I'm very, very confident that wasn't a bug earlier. But even if it was, that would have meant Spartacraft would have just gone out earlier. So even if that was a bug earlier, it didn't affect the outcome of the match at all. So I'm sure no one's going to debate that. Although you goddamn know it, there'll be people in the comments who do it. Okay, so Study's going for a very, very similar opener. I guess Sparta was anticipating that now that he's doing a very different opener. Yes, indeed, that is a very, very, very nice counter. Oh, and that is a ditch. That is a dismember on the chest right there. That's not dismember. My brain is out of it today, guys. That is a dislocation on the chest. That is going to affect him. Now that he can't bring his right arm in or out. Not sure what Study's talking about in the chat. There's something glitched. Maybe he meant the hand. Don't know. Either way, it didn't affect the outcome, so it doesn't really matter. Definitely Spartacraft with a reversal there. Very much anticipating the opener and now has a sizable upper hand because of that. Very, very, very smart move on Spartacraft's part there. Doesn't look like anything's dislocated. Dislocated. That was the right word. Well done, Jack. I really think that pec dislocation Study has is going to hurt him because now he can't really manipulate his hand as much as he'd like to. At least he can still raise and lower it though. It's not the worst dislocation. We've seen worse dislocations throughout this tournament, but still not gonna help him at all. Okay, Study going for another very interesting reversal there. I mean, it's risky, and Spartacraft, I'd still say, could easily reverse that with both his legs firmly planted on the ground as they are, and his arms are still in command. But Study's gone for a very risky reversal there. Words are escaping me today. Somebody get me a dictionary. And Sparta has done exactly what I thought he was going to do, and that's raise both his hips. Completely forgot what the jump was called. I would say Study is looking like he's at a disadvantage here. He is now completely at the mercy of gravity and Spartacraft. But he's in the air. We've seen people turn that to their advantage by twisting, kicking, and clawing their way out of it, so I'm sure this isn't over as much as it looks, and this could still be very interesting. Let's see how he's going to reverse that. Okay. Spartacraft still with a very, very sizable advantage. I keep saying that, but it is still true. It may look like he's off balance, but his legs are still totally free. Just needs to make sure he watches his elbows, and Study will just roll out. There's not a lot Study can do to stop this now. He's totally at Spartacraft's mercy, especially with that dislocation on his left arm. There, okay, we have it 1-1, and there's somebody in the server who I forgot to kick. My bad. Okay, let's get Study back in. I guess I was too engrossed in the match. These things happen. 1-1. Okay. So this is 1-1, final round, third round. Yeah, people just aren't learning. But I try my best to hide the server, but it just doesn't work. Oh well. I hope he didn't see the result of that match. Now let's see how they're gonna open this. Okay, Sparta going for a very interesting opener. We've definitely not seen that before. Same sort of thing with Study going for a different opener to the one before. He's learning from his past mistakes and is now trying to mix up his strategy. That is a smart move on his part. I don't think anybody was expecting. Oh god, oops, cancel. Try to save that replay. I'm just very tired today. Okay, so they're both playing it very defensively. You can tell that both contestants here really don't want to take any stupid risks and risk throwing away this match. That is respectable, and they're both playing a defensive match, and I think this is going to result in a very interesting round indeed. So we've got grabs on both the hands. We've seen stuff like this before. I really don't know who... Oh, God, okay. They're both in a very similar situation here. I wouldn't say either one of them has the advantage. Study's got to watch his right leg, or that is going straight out. I assume he's probably already on that, probably even before I noticed it. This is a very defensive play on both contestants' parts. I mean, neither one of them wants to make any stupid mistakes, and I think that's going to lead to either it going to points or one having to do that, pretty much. So I see now what it looks like there is that Spartacraft has the advantage, but Study definitely likes being in the air, and he can definitely make it work. We've seen that. He can do that. So I'd like to say that Spartacraft has the advantage, but this could all be part of Study's plan, and I think we're about to find out with his next move, which is doing that. Okay. Again, we've seen Study do this. This almost appears to be his strategy, so I don't really want to say that Spartacraft has the advantage, even though it definitely looks like he has. Spartacraft definitely has the skill to turn this around on Study, but the airborne assassin dude, he really does like it, so I think we're going to see something very interesting here. Study not really looking like he's going out there. I mean, he can definitely bring his feet back around, so I don't think he's going out yet. He's definitely going down fighting, but I think Sparta does have the upper hand here. Although Study knows what he's doing when he's in the air, Sparta is he's on the ball. He knows what's going on. He knows that Study is good in the air, so he's trying to disable him from doing it, and it appears to be working. Okay, very interesting let go of his right hand. That left hand, right hand, I can't really tell because I can't really tell which way is left hand. That's interesting. I don't think Spartacraft was expecting that. That is a very interesting turn of events. I expect Sparta was thinking he was going to stay grabbed, meaning he could manipulate him a lot more than he has. That's interesting. That's not even that risky. That's just flat out smart. Okay, we now have a handstand on both players' parts. This is definitely going to be probably going into the below 100 frames, and that's definitely interesting. I wouldn't say either player now really with that much of an advantage. The only way they're connected is by the grabs on their hands. Both players are grabbing, so neither player is really getting away if they let go. I imagine now they're probably going to try and whip back into each other like that. Study definitely safe there. I mean, his left hand's going to keep him up even if Sparta tries to push him. Spartacraft dangerously close to the outside of the arena, but he definitely seems to know what he's doing. According to the ghost, it looks like they're both trying to twist into this, which is definitely interesting. Let's see how they're gonna... Okay, they're both rising up. I think this is going to go to points, which is looking like a Spartacraft win, unless, hell, we've seen Study reverse it in the last frame, so maybe he can do this, but they're both definitely playing a very, very defensive game, which, again, is very admirable. You see people all the time in this tournament being brash, getting out there and putting themselves at an immediate disadvantage with really over-the-top openers, and there we have it. Goes to points. Spartacraft wins. 1-2, Spartacraft wins. Very, very good round. I gotta love the long rounds, because you can tell both players here had a lot of skill, and no, I can't argue with that. Also, a very nice looking replay too. I mean, you can see that both of them knew what they were doing from the very start. Neither one of them was taking that sitting down. Very, very, very respectable loss by Study there. He really went down fighting. So congratulations to Spartacraft. He'll advance to the second heat. And I'm Jack Morris from Man on 5 Films. I'll see you in the next rounds. I'm very tired today. Sorry about the all over the place commentary. I shall see you soon, guys. Goodbye.